This is David, you're watching Btekt. Welcome to another video. P40 Pro on the left, iPhone 11 Pro on the right. Let's get straight into a side-by-side video and photo comparison. P40 Pro recently claimed the title of best smartphone camera with the highest score ever achieved on DxOMark with a score of 127. The iPhone, as you know, was released last year, so it is arguably at a slight disadvantage being the older device. When that was tested by DxOMark, they gave it a score of 117. But in this video, I'm just going to try and get some nice shots with them and put them side by side so you can see for yourself and decide for yourself which one you prefer. This one is sponsored by Direct Mobiles. For the best mobile deals, check out directmobiles.co.uk. I want this to be a slightly less in-depth review than what I usually do. I think that sometimes analysing the photos too much and trying to decipher which one of them has got the most dynamic range or which one doesn't clip the highlights in tricky lighting situations is just too much information sometimes. The bottom line is that they both take great pictures. I think that when you're talking about very expensive, high-end flagship phones, it is more about personal taste rather than technical detail. But looking at the photos side by side, the most obvious difference to me is the colour. Now, if we did this test with Huawei's first generation AI cameras, then there would only be one clear winner, and that would be the iPhone. But with recent Huawei AI cameras, they've definitely improved the color and saturation adjustments that the AI provides, and now it's a much more realistic image. I tested the P40 Pro against the S20 Plus and found that the colors were far more natural on the P40 Pro. But to me, the iPhone 11 Pro has the most realistic colors that I've seen in any smartphone camera. And even here against the P40 Pro, it does show just how good Apple's color science really is, and clearly is displaying more accurate colors. But then again, it does go back to what I said at the start of the video. Some people might prefer what they are seeing from the P40 Pro. Personally, I like the tone of the images that are coming from the iPhone more. Of course, the P40 Pro is far more versatile than the iPhone 11 Pro with its optical 5x telephoto lens that can be extended to a 10x hybrid and go all the way up to 50x digitally. The iPhone 11 Pro is not equipped with the same kind of optics, but it still can zoom to 10x for its photos. Comparing it to the 5x optical zoom of the P40 Pro, and there really isn't too much difference in the quality. It does a really nice job at 5x. It's at 10x that you start to see a little bit of a drop off in the quality, but it's still not too bad at all. They both have ultra wide angle lenses, slightly wider on the iPhone 11 Pro at 13mm equivalent full frame focal length, with a slightly narrower field of view for the P40 Pro at 14, which doesn't really sound like a lot, but when you are talking about such a short focal length, you do notice a lot of difference in 1mm. If you're like me and you love to shoot landscapes, then this is the lens that you will be using most of the time. They both perform great in this mode, and come on, it's really hard to pick a winner. Maybe I should just mark the Huawei down for having that watermark. I know, I should have switched it off. I get that these are pretty much ideal conditions for these smartphones, and they're both going to perform really well, but it is nice to see them both at their peak performance. iPhone 11 Pro has pretty unbeatable video, and I think that that crown is still safely with Apple, even after the release of Samsung's S20 Plus that shoots at 8K, but comparing it here to the P40 Pro, and again it does win out for me with the more natural tone. But that's not to take anything away from the P40 Pro, it still has great video and stabilization, but I think that the go-to device for video is still going to be the iPhone 11 Pro. The quality of the video just seems to be higher. The image isn't oversaturated, which will make it good for your own adjustments when you're editing. If we take a look at some portrait mode shots, then there is a clear winner here, and that is the P40 Pro, and that's because of its extra hardware. It does have that time of flight sensor, which just allows it to create a much more accurate depth map than the iPhone would be capable of doing, and therefore producing great portrait shots with really smooth graduation into that blur. However, to me, I do prefer the quality of the bokeh in the iPhone. It's just a little bit smoother, a little bit more pleasing to the eye than what we're seeing from the P40 Pro. This is the advantage that the Huawei has overall. It's just a newer piece of kit. This is something that I'm sure that they will address with the next iPhone. Low light performance on both phones is exceptionally good, but this is where the Huawei P40 Pro does pull ahead of the iPhone. The iPhone will sense when the lights are too low and automatically switch to its night mode, which will give it between a 3 and 10 second exposure. For this shot, I've switched night mode off for both phones and I'm just using the regular photo mode. and they both do a pretty good job. It doesn't really seem like it's too dark in the hallway, but it actually is very dark. You can't really see much, but both of these phones can. This shot, however, was taken in very dark conditions, and the iPhone had a lot of trouble focusing on the object. The P40 Pro had no trouble doing it, and even though you couldn't really see anything on the viewfinder, it still managed to produce a pretty good shot without its night mode. The P40 Pro has a maximum ISO which is much higher than the iPhone, so it does easily outperform it in low light. But that, again, isn't to take away from the iPhone. For me, it's a really tough choice because the versatility of the P40 Pro is very appealing. But I feel that the images coming from the iPhone, even though it's an older device, are of a better quality than what we're seeing from the P40 Pro. But then, that's just my opinion. The idea of this video was to put them side by side so you could see for yourself which one and decide for yourself which one is better. Anyway, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed my little walk around the back garden. Let me say a big thank you to Direct Mobiles for sponsoring this video. A great place to go to pick up your new phone. Compare all of the deals with all of the networks right there on the Direct Mobiles website. And with 24 years of award-winning customer service, you are in great hands. Their link is in the description below, or just search directmobiles.co.uk. And thanks for watching. That's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Follow me on social media. I'm David. This is Btekt.